Please hold.
Please hold.
Oh, it's off. It's back.
Is it
Okay, it's
back?
back.
Okay. And
Raymond Wheeler, your
Oh,
vice
I should.
president, do logistical stuff.
again, my name is Lisa Hawthorne, president of the Extra Life Edmonton Guild. We have some guests with us today. We have the fellows who started this whole crazy train. You guys introduce yourselves. Let's start with Chris.
Sure. Chris, at one point was a former president, one of the co-founders. I don't know. What else do we want to
That
know?
works.
I'm Ron.
And then,
Also, co-founder. I guess we were just going. And president before Lisa.
and then finally, that last voice in there, Matt.
Oh, hey everyone. My name's Matt Dykstra, and yeah, I was there at the start with Chris and Raman when we formed this team and kind of expanded on the Extra Life movement that was coming out of the US. So it's very exciting to kind of walk through some of the history. It's great to be on year 10 of this amazing ride.
That's crazy.
This stream's been a pleasure to watch so far today, and I know our team just crossed $60,000 raised. So everyone, give yourself some applause for a good night.
It's been pretty great. Like, if I got the story right, you all met at PAX West and decided you saw an Extra Life booth and you thought, hey, wouldn't that be cool to start in Edmonton?
Wasn't even a booth.
Wasn't even a booth.
I think what had happened was Matt and I had done game day like just as with some friends the year before, and then he and I went to PAX after we had spoken to the Stollery about wanting to make this a bigger event and make an actual event out of it. But Matt and I didn't have any sort of like business or like planning experience for stuff like this. And then when we went to PAX, we ran into a mutual friend of mine and Chris's, and we all went to dinner, and Chris and Matt and I and another friend of ours ended up in a booth together, and it was just kind of like kismet that the four of us started talking about this charity, and then as soon as we got home, it basically started, like, we hit the ground running. So
Yeah, well, that was September or Labor Day long. We had the first event. Yeah, so we had the first event 2 months later, and I mean, we just basically were like, how do we do anything? And this is going to be really fun. That was all we really knew.
Like true Extra Life Edmonton form, just doing like game days at the very last minute.
yeah.
The scramble.
Last minute. Like, not even, it's funny you say last minute, because like even the day, like, we had a bunch of like, I think we got more surprised by the community support than we expected, and like we had a bunch of silent auction items that we didn't know how to sell, because like Blizzard had signed like an entire poker set for us, like everyone in the Blizzard team, which I guess now is kind of a problem, but at the time, they yeah, like we had a whole bunch of stuff, and we had like art drawn by like a Spawn comic artist and stuff like that, and so I think that artist or somebody knew someone at the Edmonton Comic Book Expo, which was starting
Matt.
like, the first year.
Matt, didn't you reach out to someone there?
Where, sorry?
At the Comic Book Expo, where we got all our silent auction items. Like, basically, we had one connection that just kind of rolled into a bunch of other ones, and we ended up having like crazy silent auction items.
and then the friend, the connection we had at the Comic Book Expo let us use the expo on Sunday for our auction items, and then that became an annual tradition for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. Like what?
Yeah,
So I
so
put together.
Yeah, I think the philosophy is that Extra Life already existed, and we just saw an opportunity to bring everyone together to do it together in one venue. And so that first year was us not being logistics experts and throwing an event together and being really surprised when we had something like 35 or odd people show up, and organizing at Startup was they were amazing venue to get. The Mercer building is still a very special place to me, just because of the first three Extra Lives that we held there. So as you can see from this photo, BioWare was a big sponsor, Startup was a big sponsor, and this was the kind of one of the first things that went up on the team channels or the Facebook in order to get people interested in that first event in 2012.
Yeah, and
Also-
like Matt, if obviously you remember this, but the Startup Edmonton is not anywhere close to in the same form that it is today. There was no
No, not
walls.
at all.
There was
Yeah.
no. There was a very little power run in the building. There was
We
no
had to get
no
a generator,
internet.
didn't we?
Well, eventually we had to get an electrician to come fix it
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
next years. But in that first year, like we were just, it was a warehouse. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You guys remember
Which
these
was just to
banners?
make it was effective.
Oh, the tradition of the crayon sponsor banner.
Oh man.
We all had a really fun team building exercise tracing these out and trying to get them to look right and look fun.
Yeah. So we
And
started going to do it.
watching them collect signatures over the course of 24 hours was always a treat, as everyone who came would sign it.
Yeah.
And look at all the sponsors, even from this first year, some really amazing people.
Game Dog's still with us.
Beamdog, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Trent's awesome. He's been
Yeah,
there since the
absolutely.
beginning. I mean, if you look, yeah, like I mean, comic books, Video Games Live was a cool one to
Video
have.
Games
They
Live.
donated
Mhm.
some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
still have any of these banners?
I believe I still have some of them. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought they were at Lisa's house.
No, not the banners. No, not those. Like I've got like our signage.
I think I
Those
have a
crayon
couple.
banners.
Just looking
Yeah.
at these photos from the event, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Still a CRT there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
See Kyle?
here you can see both technology 8 years ago, or I guess nine
Yeah.
years ago.
See Nino
Uh,
there? You see Nino right at the front there? At the back of his head?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
I can see Jastrick in the middle there.
Yeah, Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah. There's
But
Nino again.
this was a really amazing space, the open kind of loft concept, and everyone
Yeah.
just doing things. I remember having to take everyone up the storage elevator. Most people
Yeah.
would kind of climb up the stairs, but some of the bigger setups, we had to go up the storage elevator in the back of Startup Edmonton, and it was very fun hauling these CRT TVs up there.
And that's what I was going to mention. You can see two of them in this picture, but I think at this event we had probably 5 or 6. And we had to start creating that rule set around people bringing them because of the power consumption.
So
Just a
these
bigger
CRT
bowl.
TVs like tripped the power for the event like twice.
I mean, that's still our biggest challenge. Even now, like every year, it becomes more of a challenge because we have more people, and then like doing it at WEM, power becomes a challenge. Like power, it's funny. Like we're talking about all this fun. Oh man, Mike House. Mike House. This man is
Yeah.
the greatest.
Look at all that hair. Look at that hair.
On his arms.
Opening ceremonies.
Who's that
Yeah.
baby on the left?
Anyways.
That
Can you
child.
rap right here? I don't know if anyone knows this, but oh man, please don't mention the person in the green shirt. Never talk about that.
Yeah,
person.
Oh,
all 3 of them
yeah.
are there.
Oh, it is all 3 of us. Oh Christ.
I think I'm
It was
actually
so-
wearing bowling shoes for this.
Of course you are,
I think-
Chris. You're so extra.
That
So
sounds like a very
extra.
Chris thing to do.
That is a very Chris thing to do.
But I remember when we thought about this event, we did very much want to start it with an opening ceremonies and with getting everyone together to have some fun and watch some tournaments. Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Look, I still have hair.
What
Yeah,
a
that's one of the
baby
things.
you are.
He is a
No kidding.
baby. That's like one of the things though, is that you try to keep those traditions throughout, like those major traditions that you guys started. Through opening ceremonies, the speeches, like just keeping that alive.
Well, it's the foundation to building that community, right? Like you get everyone together, like literally you say, "Hey everybody, stop what you're doing and let's actually think about what we're trying to accomplish today." And that sense of community, that's just where it launches from. And eventually we started having those opening videos with like what Ramen would put together, or you know, it built on everything, and we had those tournaments. Basically, we had more and more VIPs. I think the second year out, we had Don Iveson, which was unbelievable.
Don't rush
So,
us,
After he got
Chris.
elected.
Yeah.
Don't rush us. We'll get
Oh,
there.
sorry, I didn't. Yeah. But anyways, it was to build that sense of community, right? That's really the point I'm trying to hammer home. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing we didn't want to lose sight of is that community.
Skip.
Really into Marvel Pinball Ramen.
Next photo.
Next one.
Next photo.
Okay.
Okay. Check this. So this is
Works for me.
Wow.
Holy wow, that was our first. What year was this?
this was the first. This was the first one.
Oh
Was-
wow,
This
we
would have
made that
been
much?
2012
Yeah, man. I made a graphic.
was Mercer.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
That's crazy.
and at this time, there, like it says, second place in Canada, but even from a per capita basis, we were nailing it out of the park. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
crazy
Because
how.
it wasn't conceived this way, right? Like that's I think the thing that makes Extra Life Edmonton special is that like and it's special everywhere. This is not a we're better or worse. It's just that like we created a structure for this charity internationally, and the I think the thing that like always makes me proud is that the work we did was clearly so good and so invested in the right things that it transferred to the charity as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that still happens now.
That
Yeah.
still happens. Yeah. Let's get the next
Yeah,
one.
in no way can we take credit for all of it because
Mhm.
it's there's so many people involved in it, but it's
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't even know where to start because like if we didn't have Mike House and the Stollery on board with that first event, I feel like we would have been sunk if we didn't have those sponsors. And it just kind of the ball kept rolling, and it was so good to have a community behind us for us to be able to accomplish what we did. And so I think
Well, and I
Yeah,
think
go ahead, Matt.
after year one, we didn't want to lose it, right? Which is why
Yeah.
we decided to start earlier the next year, and this being
Mhm.
the first event on May 6th, being like, hey, remember like last year when we all got together and had like lots of fun and did something good for children in our community. Like let's do that again, but let's be a bit more thoughtful about it. And so we had to do that as a team of organizers and volunteers as well. But it became much more of a focused effort in
Yeah.
next year.
So in this year here, like I joined on the first year, but I was too chicken to come to game day. So this was the first one that I joined as a fundraiser. And I was just like in awe of what you guys were doing. So this was my first game day.
I think the thing that I liked the most about those days were the tournaments, and I mean there's Dawn, but I loved that like the way we had it set up to keep people engaged for that whole time frame. And I don't know, I don't know if it was who we were, but the trust we were able to build with those people in the community, and maybe it was because of the first year's success, but like in the second year, I think Ken Bautista, who was running startup at the time, he couldn't be there for the overnight portion, and so he just gave us he's just like, okay, the building's gonna get locked, and you guys are stuck in here.
Isn't that the night that we couldn't get out of the building without setting off the alarm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were stuck in that building. We couldn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, we were stuck.
That was hilarious. Oh God, yeah.
Um,
Because I remember you making an announcement saying, guys, you know what? I'm sorry, but nobody can leave the building.
Yeah, this is the last time you can leave, and either you're staying or you're going,
Walk
and
in.
go for a
literal
smoke.
lock-in.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I remember it was a big deal to get Don Iveson to come to this event because he had won the election like 2 weeks prior, I think.
Yeah.
He got
It was
sworn
like-
in like that day, I think.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be like one of
Did he
his
really? That's hilarious.
yeah. first like event as like mayor. He came to Extra Life.
Children's charity.
It's like we had
You
some
can't get
political.
much better press than that.
I was gonna say, it's like we had some political connection or something there, or press connection.
Yeah. Someone who worked within the field.
I get some headlines.
Yeah, it was all nice people that I knew that
Yeah.
will form this team, and
Oh,
what a
Quinn.
nice
Oh
year.
man, forgot
Quinn-
all
You
about
guys look like children.
Yeah. That's
No kidding.
Aaron's
that. Dare you?
Aaron's mandate. Raj Sherman. I still see him and go golfing with him every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he was because I now do putting for paws, right? So
Yeah.
he was at the event, but not at the event. He was at the driving range before it started, and so she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "This."
So
That's
this is Northlands.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
when
the
I
Northland.
this is when I showed up.
This is when
This
you
is,
showed
yeah,
up?
this is when Ray joined the team.
I think I was still
Oh.
volunteering, and then shortly after
Where's-
this,
This is
you invited me on.
is this Expo?
Yeah.
Expo.
Yes, yeah. This
This-
is Hall F.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Hall.
thought we did it at Northlands. I completely forgot that.
We did it twice at Northlands.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, look at the piece of paper
Yeah,
because,
notice the signage editing.
yeah, because remember we did that for so long because we couldn't afford signage?
That's
Yeah,
what we
just-
learned.
Just change
This-
the date with paper?
This is where we learned you don't put dates on printed things. Because if you had to reuse it year over year, you were not going to be able to. And
Oh my God,
we
I
didn't
remember.
have a budget. There was no budget. There was
There's no
nothing.
money. No. Good golly. I think I was still a fundraiser at this point. This is when I was downloading games and you guys shut down my internet.
I think
I had to
Eddie
make
at
a-
this point.
Yeah.
Eddie at this point was still taping cables down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's one thing that a lot of folks won't see unless they ever are on the organizing or volunteering team. It's just the massive amount of effort that goes into creating this. Look
Put
at
this
that,
together.
look at
Well,
that
this-
hall. Wow.
Yeah, this was year 3.
I think what happened was we realized there was basically no way to grow
Yeah.
without moving out of startup. There was
Yeah.
we had maximized the space there. The power needs could no longer support the event, and so Northlands was actually really amazing to work with. But we actually didn't know if everything would truly work until like 2 days before the event. Remember being immensely
Usual.
stressed about this, Chris?
Yeah,
I remember this
power,
year.
internet.
I remember this
we didn't
year in
even,
particular. We didn't know anything before we got there to set up, basically.
Yeah, I had met with them. I think it was the night before, and they just showed us those panels in the ground underneath the tables. They're just like, yeah, this is where all of it's going to run through, and we have TELUS internet.
It's important to
That
know
was really
that-
all we knew.
Yeah, and we realized
was-
that we were gonna have to do some quick work to fix that up. But yeah, these things are organized events, but in some ways they're unorganized. At least
Every
from
year
what I
is just a
remember,
miracle.
little peek behind the curtain. Yeah, every year is a miracle. I agree with that. Right.
That's
Like,
important to note too. Like this was a handful of people that would do this every year. Like we have the luxury of taking a bunch of volunteers off the Stollery's hands, but back then it was
like
hey,
5
do you
of
want to
us.
stick up your hand and
That's
do
right.
it? But yeah, just the 5.
Yeah,
of
I
you.
think this year was probably 6, maybe 7 people. But yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
not a large organizing committee.
Yeah.
No, this year was the best year for, or at least one of the best for actually people getting their stuff inside the venue.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, like I don't remember this. Like I know we went like taping, like the cabling took a long time, but I don't remember this being like like having a lot of problems.
No, it's
The
funny. It's
venue,
like
yeah.
my memories are so viscerally tied to organizing, but there was just there was so much great about this venue. There was so much more space. It was so much bigger, and people could have their
Agreed.
monitors louder without it being so loud.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, and it was also like better temperature control. Oh.
Is that Phaedra?
Yeah, that's Phaedra.
That's
That's
really
Yeah.
funny.
He was just there
So-
for a visit.
This was like the end of it.
Yeah.
I think we were just tired.
Yeah, this was in the morning, and that is my couch, so I had to haul that home after.
Oh,
That's right. Wow.
That's kind of a relationship with Extra Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, we got married, so that's my wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the starting.
Yeah, that was the starting point.
Uh,
Over here, we've got our
okay.
community meetup.
Well, yeah, the starting point actually for that was at the comic like at the expo,
Oh.
which
Oh,
is
okay.
also documented online. If you look at,
I've seen some video of this. I forgot about
yeah,
that.
it's on Cassandra Ebner her YouTube channel. She filmed it, and her buying all the silent auction items and stuff. So Phaedra and I meeting is on camera.
On camera. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's on camera.
This is
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And I
awesome.
can see Grimwolf in the back there.
Yeah, Rod's, yeah.
And oh, why do I forget his name? What the heck?
Angelo?
Angelo.
Angelo. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's the game mode guys over on the left there. Game mode
yeah.
live.
I see Mike from Frag, and
Here's
Richard. I see
Mena.
his head poking out there.
Jimena
think,
on there.
Oh yeah, Richard. It's hard to miss his head.
It's so interesting because I mean this was like a community feedback meeting. This is like, what can we do
Yeah.
better?
Yeah. What do you guys want to see? Is that a Carmen?
That is a Carmen.
Yes,
Yep.
right?
You can't mistake that hair in the N7 hoodie.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And then, not to forget this.
That was
Where is that
a
now?
fun
Oh wow.
It's
project.
Still at Retro.
Where is that right now?
Still at Retroactive.
It's that retroactive?
It's waiting for us.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean this was a cool partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
It's
can't
heavy.
believe this. Like I said,
It is.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Go
you
ahead,
want to
Matt.
talk about this, Chris? Or you,
No, go ahead.
I actually had like an arcade that I was fixing up, and so I kind of like found Retroactive Arcade, and we went in and spoke to the owner, and fantastic guy, and he ended up fixing up my personal arcade machine. But then we talked about building a charity arcade, and he just made it so neat, and also made it into a donor box. You could actually drop money in there.
Yeah.
You can
And
see
I
the
mean,
photo.
yeah, the nice part about it was we would just drop it off at like I actually bought a truck to haul this around.
I remember
Yeah,
hauling
yeah.
it with you once. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare.
It's
Just, it was a nightmare, but it was I think good at getting the word out there because people had asked
So
so
great.
many questions, and every time we'd have it somewhere, they'd be like, "Wait, what? Like, one, how did you get an arcade cabinet? and two, what is this? What charity is this?"
It attracted a lot of attention.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's Casey Jones at Retroactive Arcade. If you ever need any arcade needs, I'd encourage you to check them out because he built this for us basically just out of the kindness of his heart, and it's been at like pretty much every event since that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
here
And
we
he's done
have
some
the
cool
signage.
projects.
Have the signage like without dates.
Yes, yeah, and that's the
Right.
perfect sign.
We always used that. Like Matt, didn't you design like the whole cityscape stuff?
That was me.
You kept that going for a while. Was that you, Chris?
No, I thought
Oh,
that was.
Chris and I took turns on designing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the opening videos for ceremonies every year, I think I made 3 or 4 of them. Chris made 1 or 2.
I didn't make any. No,
2.
Ramen made
Ramen
them.
made
Yeah,
the
I didn't
other
make
one?
any of the videos.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
For the first few years, yeah.
yeah. I had to learn.
Matt made one too. Matt made, I think, the first 2.
Yeah, probably videos. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This was a scramble of a time.
This was another
Holy
this wasn't
smokes.
sure.
This was a time.
This was a miracle that
I
this
still
even
have
happened.
trauma.
Disaster.
I still have trauma. Using
This
our
event, so-
venue.
I don't want to talk about this. couldn't do Northlands anymore. I can't remember why. And it took us like a really long, like we almost didn't do the event this year, I think, if I remember correctly, because we couldn't find a venue.
We could not
Yeah.
find a venue for the life of us in the entire
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
It took us. I think this was a month out, if I remember correctly.
Yep. We lucked on. I don't even remember. Chris, do you remember how this even came about?
I think I made a bunch of phone calls. Like I sent an email to. I remember her name. I'm not going to say it, but it was just like the HR team or something at the Eskimos. And I got hooked up
They
with
were
it.
happy.
I remember the internet that we got was
Well,
just
right. So they let us use
horrendous.
the gym in the Eskimos like training building.
Yeah.
And then, if I remember correctly, we were told that there was high-speed internet. Then
In
when
fact-
we got there the night before.
Shaw sponsored this event.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
And so we were like, okay, the one thing we have at this event is internet, because we have confirmed Shaw supplies the building and they'll be able to supply the internet. We're fine. We show up the night before and we're testing it, and they have two little modems that they set up that had like 25 megabit up and down. And for like that many people, it was like probably 150 people.
Yeah.
I remember when I did that speed test, and you were like, "No, you have to be mistaken."
I was
Oh
like,
my
this is
God.
not real.
Guys, I
Yeah,
blocked
right.
so much of this out.
Yeah.
And then the Edmonton
was
Eskimo
traumatic.
Club
No,
IT crew came down.
I think we switched
Like
to the venue's internet. How many? Like, I think we got it by the
It
evening.
was that morning. It was
it
that
that
morning.
morning.
It was like
Yeah.
hours before
So
starting.
Yeah.
it was Chris. I can't remember it was Chris. I just obviously remember his name was Chris. And so, but he was the IT guy for the building for Commonwealth Stadium, and he like I told him that what the problem was, and he's just like, "Don't worry about it. We're the first people to have fiber
wow.
in the city."
Uh,
And I was like, "Thank you." And so he literally went into the server room, turned a port, and just unleashed it. He just went like, here it is, full flow. Don't worry about it. No one else in the building's using internet right now."
so
Yeah.
I remember writing a bunch of notes for opening
For your
ceremonies for a speech,
Yeah.
and then losing it right before I had to
remember
give
that,
it.
yeah. And then you're
And
just
being
like,
so-
"Ah."
And then I just went in stream of consciousness in it, and I almost burst into tears. So I was like, emotionally racked by the morning of setting up and even getting to opening ceremonies. This is Chris with a mountain of pizza. Oh, Chris and Grimwolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pizza 73, best one of the best pizza sponsors.
I think that
shouldn't-
changed this year,
shouldn't
though.
say-
I thought it's Pizza 7 or Pizza Hut is.
I was gonna
this
say
year.
I shouldn't. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't shout out competing previous year's sponsors.
Oh, that's fine.
We've had great pizza sponsors. Andrew Knack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's still fundraising.
he's
He
here
is
this
a
year.
huge advocate for us.
City
Yeah, he
councilor,
does that every year.
in case anyone doesn't know.
Re-elected again.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
even
Good for
though
you. I didn't know that actually. Congratulations to him.
and
I just wanted to shout out the chat quickly because Katie was saying this. This was also that Xbox rolled out a major update in the middle of the night, so I was playing games on my phone for 5 hours while my console struggled to update.
Yeah.
oh
Which
wow.
now that he mentions it, there were a lot of people that happened to that night.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was like a massive gaming shutdown halfway through the night because people kept having to update.
You guys remember these two?
I do.
I do.
They-
Ones who were too young to come to our event, but
By themselves.
by themselves, but we made an exception.
well, they were the first ones that we had the parents sign a waiver for.
Yeah.
So they basically signed their kids over to us for the day.
Well, it was like we'd never thought through this the liability on this was another struggle of organizing larger and larger events was obviously legal liability and starting to set rules around that. I think part of what it's pretty. I think you guys run a pretty professional team today, but it was like us figuring these things out for the first time wasn't always fun.
All the time.
You
yeah,
set a lot of precedents, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
but
I think
parents more than
by
happy to drop their kids off, right?
yeah, get 24 hours
Drop the
away.
kids off.
But the
KJs.
nice thing was by this point, I think we actually did have liability insurance which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best
If I-
part was
if
that
I-
we had such a great group of people that it was never like an issue or anything like that. We never had any liability issues, at least
No.
I remember.
I forgot that we did the cup that year.
Right.
Yeah.
The house.
Yeah.
the
Reasons
factions
and
that were
reasons.
competing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
still an idea that I think we haven't perfected yet, but it's there's something there.
I don't even
Something
remember
there.
who
It's
came
the
up with
idea
that
of like
idea.
I can't remember.
It's-
who
I think it was
started it.
Phaedra's
I know
idea.
it took on.
It could have been Phaedra because she
I'm
likes
fairly certain
Harry
it was
Potter.
Phaedra's idea.
I remember it being Phaedra.
Yeah.
Oh, she made the cup. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she definitely made the trophy. Yeah.
She definitely made it. I remember that.
Yeah. Just the idea
I
of
know,
like
I remember.
cooperative
I
competition.
feel like I remember in meetings it was mostly her idea
Oh.
to do that.
Yeah. I was just saying this was like the first time we were doing cooperative competition.
It's like an idea of like people cooperating.
God, I
but
was
still
so
being
thin and
competitive.
handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm fat and old. I don't like these photos of me.
Oh god.
People get
Reminding
old.
me how pretty I used to be.
We're all fat and old except for Chris.
I'm still old.
A little round.
Oh,
Anyway, Wayne's not aged.
and look at Chris in the background. What are you doing, stalker? Bigfooting around back there?
That's who I am.
Around.
That's who I am.
He really is doing the like stride.
It's definitely like a Bigfoot in the woods photo. If you look
Yeah.
in the smiling faces. Great, Lisa, you look great.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Oh, look at this!
This is the end
What
of
a
days, so-
team! What a team!
What a
Rod.
team.
And
Uh,
you know what? We always took our team photos at the end of
Mhm.
every
Oh, whenever
event.
Yeah, I think other than Brett, it's still the team.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Well, I guess me and you and Matt aren't there anymore, but
Yeah. I feel like
I still count us as part of the team.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're always gonna feel like we're part of the team.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we're
Nothing
actually
to
doing.
without us.
Doesn't mean I'm doing any work. I feel like I don't want to take any. Don't want to take any of that credit.
Just taking the royalties.
Yeah.
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 So like the first 4 years I did it, I didn't do it.
Great photo.
Like right our first year here.
Yes.
So
I mean,
like I remember when Matt and I and Chris and Eddie when we first talked about this, we
Yeah.
were like, what? Because I remember Stollery was like, what venues would you like? And we made them a list, and at the very bottom of the list, we were like, Westminster Mall, because we know it'll never happen.
well, it was so we had this on our mind for a long time before we even brought it up to them. Because I think a lot of the questions that we asked while we were organizing the event was,
Yeah.
where would people want to game? Because those are the places that the community wants to gather. And so we started throwing out these crazy ideas, and that's when Tellus World of Science was one of them, and we did that. And like there was other crazy ones, like we were trying to do Tetris on the side of like ATB building, and like stuff. It was crazy stuff, but this was one of them. And
I remember seeing the stage for the
Streetcar.
first time.
sorry,
and
Matt?
then-
On the streetcar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just saying I remember seeing this stage for the first time, and I knew that we had like a stage audio visual figured out, but I think that was like on Chris's end, so like I just never worried about it. Another one of the organizers had figured it out. I think it was Chris, and so
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was,
pay
yeah.
too much attention to it. And then when I saw it for the first time, I was like just so overwhelmed by how awesome it looked.
Yeah.
That
It
LED.
really sold the event to everyone who walked around the mall that weekend. However many thousands of people they get per day. Everyone
we
saw
knew-
it.
Yeah, and we knew it would be a spectacle, right? And we had talked about that for a while, and we're like, because everyone's gonna walk around and be looking into the ice rink, being like, "What are these guys doing?" And like, why are there so many computers? Anyways, like, it rolled from that and saying, how do we get people's attention, and how do we potentially draw in donations from exterior sources, because people then came down and just started handing money over to the front.
Yeah. In the
And
moment.
like, one place they can pay to get into the event itself, which is like, probably that's just good awareness, right? It's like,
Yep.
make people find out how to fundraise and give them information, and then have Lisa at the table because she was the nicest person on our team.
Most
That's right.
approachable.
There's nicer people now.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, boy, oh boy, we just did better each year because this is the first time we had the horrendous lineup and people waiting to get in. So I just remember how we just streamlined it and just
Yeah.
learned from every event.
Like,
Yeah,
Especially.
Start
it
out.
definitely
like
didn't
a-
help changing venues every year.
Yeah.
But
I think Ray was going to say
Yeah,
something.
this is like our
Oh, sorry.
first venue
Sorry.
that was more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well-
And see, I think a lot of that was helpful to us though, because like we were really young. We didn't know what the hell we were doing, right? Like
Yeah,
by the time we
we-
got to
we
by the time we got to WEM, I think we thought we had an organizational education that WEM completely destroyed for us.
Well,
Which is a good thing.
if you remember correctly, so we did this event, and then the next year they went in under renovation or whatever, right? But
Right.
they consulted us for their renovation so that they knew how much power and internet they should have for the Ice Palace.
Yeah. So that like renovated the Ice Palace with us in mind, which is like really an honor for us because it means that they clearly saw value in our event, in an event that didn't really make them a lot of money.
well,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
really, really liked us. They got the gift and
charity.
Oh, sure, yes, no, absolutely, but you know what I mean. Like we're not a lot of all the other events that are in the Ice Palace are not really fundraising events.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there is a big connection between West Edmonton Mall and the Stollery. There's a long history of community support, and we got lucky in how the Stollery supported us in getting this venue.
Yes,
so-
yes, 100%.
It was an email went out, and all of a sudden we had the venue. Like it was like the easiest time I think we ever had in securing a venue.
Yeah, it was like literally a year before the event too.
Yeah,
And
it was pretty far
the
out.
trophy leveled up.
Yeah.
Just hot glued some more things to it.
Yeah. Some repairs.
And you can see a little bit of behind the scenes on all the tech that we had.
Yeah.
If we
Cable
needed
wire.
something,
That's-
either Ray and I, we either owned it or we bought it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
then in
it was
We
our
haven't- we
stuff.
haven't- We haven't shouted out yet, but we need to acknowledge that like none of these events would happen without Frag.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Palooza.
Not even a
Zero
little
of these
bit.
events would
Go
happen
back
without
home.
Frag and Palooza. 100%. They have run our internet. They have like figured out helped us with our technical issues. They've helped us with our like organizational education. I don't think we
Yeah.
could ever do this event without Frag.
100%.
They've collaborated with us just like on the virtual stuff as well.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
it's
That's
been
awesome.
They've been incredible through the years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giggling at absolutely nothing. These are the best times.
This was when Emily broke me. This was after like I think what was
Broke.
like 20 hours, and then she made some joke, and I just literally could not stop laughing for honestly an hour and a half. I was so tired that I just completely went delirious. I think she called me like a human boy, and I just like I was just tired. Like I was like, oh, and then just started laughing. I was so tired.
I don't know if you remember
so
this, but the thing I think we learned the most at this event was that you needed to like insulate your feet from because
Yeah.
these were
Yeah.
Oh.
these were kind of like I don't know if they were originally designed or if they were just designed in the 70s or something, because when they overlaid these they could still shift and it wasn't like a perfect fit, and so the cold from the ice still came up, and so everyone's feet by the end of this were frozen.
Yeah.
And
It melted
Fix
like
that.
an inch of
They
the
never
ice.
fixed it.
they
It's so
fixed it it was still better than it was. I remember the other years we were doing it. It was better
True.
because
True.
the bottom tiles were not like shiftable. They had their new
Ones, I think, too,
renovated
yeah.
like insulator was completely different.
Like it's freaking
And that
cold.
venue.
Well, it kind of spoke to, I think, the future of what we could accomplish for this too. Like this again, it was still growing and still is growing, and so I don't know. Like I love this venue, and I think it's the future of what can be in gaming in Edmonton. So
Also, like I this may be a little more insight than Lisa wants, and you can tell me, Lisa, if we want to stray from this. But I think something that I always loved about our organizing team and like just the concept of this was like all of us got an education in things that like we wouldn't have otherwise necessarily, and like
A lot of extras.
we especially over the years, I think we really made an effort to like make sure all of the organizers were doing things that they wanted to learn to do and also were good at doing. And so I there's a real pride on my end, at least, of like we basically made a like a job training out of this charity for a lot of young people who want to do good community work. And I think like, you know, I keep shouting out like frag and all this stuff, but like really, like this wouldn't happen without our organizers. It wouldn't happen without everybody's effort, right? So I think that ability for us to give that to a younger generation over time going forward is something I'm really proud of.
yeah, and well, I mean, you kind of say it in that what you said. It's just passion drives performance.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
so we
Music
just
club.
have. Sorry.
But also reflects leadership, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. I was kind of.
I think like
I was there.
at the end of it, like at the end of it, we really treat it like a lot of mentoring and mentorship and job experience and stuff like that, right? Like it's just supplements that, especially not for me. I do something completely different with my career.
Well, but so did I, and it's funny, Matt. I don't know if you ever attributed this to this, but I felt like I learned a lot from you during this whole process, and like in meetings that we went to for sponsors and how you conducted yourself. I learned a lot from you.
See, and then I took that from you, Chris. I learned from you.
Well, it flows down.
It
So
sure
It
does.
trickles.
Yeah. So
Don't
Matt,
start.
thanks for that.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Hey, what floor?
Team is really the
What floor of the Epcor Tower were we on?
16.
I don't remember.
Was it? Yeah.
16?
Yeah.
16th floor.
And this was the first year I took over, I think.
Yes, and this was the year that the West Edmonton Mall was under reno, so we had to find a venue for the
So we had to find a
7th
venue.
time.
They but it was also like another. I think this is another relationship that came out of Stollery, as far as I remember.
It
Yeah,
could have.
This was
What?
the guy.
No,
the
this
guy
was
called
Matt.
Yeah, the guy called
Yeah.
Matt.
It was that guy's name. I think it was Clint or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Qualico. Yeah.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah, for
Because I had just resigned in like January, and he called me on my cell phone because it was still on a website somewhere. And so he called me and was like, "Okay, I'm not involved in this, but if you want to talk to somebody, here's that." So it was almost like they heard something or that we needed it, and then they just called us.
That's
So-
that's when the shift started to happen.
Sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's when the shift started to happen. This weird shift. People started calling us instead of us having to go
People
and get
reaching out
it.
to us.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's what I was going to say. Is that the guy? I think he had either participated or had wanted to participate, and so he called Chris, and then I talked to him, and when I talked to him, he was like, "Well, we just want to contribute somehow. We don't know how Qualico can help you." And I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
we are lacking a venue." So he just straight up was like, "Okay, the 16th floor is unbooked. We book it when we rent it out. If you guys want the space, we can make a deal with Stollery." So that's what happened, and then we did game day in the 16th floor of Epcor Tower, and it was rad because nothing in that floor was it was just a concrete. It was honestly a lot like
Out, you know.
Mercer.
Yeah. was kind of a return to form, you know, back to the
Yeah.
lock-ins. Yeah.
Back to the lock-ins, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's again, you had to deal with all the logistics of power and internet from the base.
Yeah, all over
Well, I
again.
mean, this was a pretty smooth year because we had this was the first year we had the night before to set up.
Yeah.
That was the difference. Is this is the first year we had actual time to set up.
Oh, that's
man,
right.
and
Yeah,
Massage
those
gun.
massages are great.
they're pretty fantastic. Roman,
I
here's
wish you
the
still did.
kicker. We had with the venue for production this year, we had a week.
Wow. How are you guys, by the way? Actually wondering, are you at the CTV studio?
No, it's a secret. I'll tell you
A
later.
secret.
Okay.
A bunker.
Yeah, exactly.
bunker.
From live from the Justice League or something.
Yeah.
Like-
From Arkham.
It's
So
it's the
Oh,
team.
yeah. I want to bring up Shannon.
Total-
That was the year.
You know,
That was
Sorry,
the year
Matt?
Cade got his leg waxed on stream.
it's underground.
It
It's
is
like
the
the
year they got
Freemasons,
it
man.
like
You
wow.
can't know
Yes.
where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freemasons.
Yeah, this is some Illuminati stuff here.
Actually, go back a
This
sec.
is some Da Vinci
I
Code
think
stuff.
this marks. Isn't this the first graphic that we got from Eric?
So yeah.
I think this was the first Eric graphic. Yeah, potentially.
He does great work.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Dairy Queen
Got a
cone.
lot
I think we just said that in the chat, yeah. Oh, this Animathon puppet mascot.
Oh, the Pikachu.
You can
and
see if you look in the
We
mouth,
have
you,
the mouth of Pikachu.
you
Look
can
at
see a face.
Is it Ray?
No, I don't think it's me.
No,
I can't tell who
he's
it
not
is.
tall enough for that.
Yeah, that's a,
Who's in patches? I feel like was that.
Josh was in patches for a bit. I remember for 1 year anyway.
So Josh was in Dr. Patcha for the longest time, for like a few years.
That's,
and, with one exception, Jamie's husband.
Yes, and
Right,
Microsoft Store
right.
Josh. Is that Microsoft Store Josh?
And
that
Sean
who
in
he's-
the North
Microsoft
had,
Okay.
Store Josh, yeah.
Yeah.
and Sean in the North did a turn because he had an incentive to do a turn in
Hmm.
Dr. Patcha.
Right.
Yeah, Dr. Patchup.
Actually,
These two
yeah.
are our celery. I think these two kids in the middle are our celery heroes that year.
Yeah, you see that year, yeah.
Yeah, and the one on the left was the one from the previous year. Like you can
This year,
see
yeah.
how much he changed in 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, just like things like who to choose, like to do your AV. Like the screen, we went through different iterations too, and then had to figure out like what
Better.
works best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got bigger
So-
screens.
It's just like you have to think about like how to visually attract people to this like giant
Mhm.
nerd face.
This was the last one in person, I guess. Was
Yeah,
20
I guess so. This is
Yeah,
the last
mine
one.
too.
Yeah, this is it.
Before
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before the pandemic too. Holy crap!
It's it's sad that we're 2 years into this
Yeah.
pandemic, but I'm
Oh,
really,
what?
but I'm really hopeful that next year will be a return to
I would agree.
and
Yeah, me too.
So what I still can't get over time and time again is that we have this team of 14 people now who just did not want to give up, even in the face of a pandemic.
100% what you guys
You
have
guys have
done.
done work the last
Yeah.
2 years.
Still running the stage show and the presentation and the live stream has been a joy to do it from home this year for me, for sure.
Well, and all the community events and stuff you guys have like scheduled and made consistent, and like you guys have done an amazing job keeping this community active.
Yeah, I would actually argue that, I mean, these years, obviously event planning has not been easy, but
Yeah.
these years have been harder, and to keep people motivated is another thing.
Mhm.
And that's tough to do, but I think you've done it. So I congratulate you guys. And needed to
There's
be done.
numbers to prove it, right? Like
Yeah.
we're still
gonna mean a lot to the
fundraising
team,
to a
yeah.
degree that I'm amazed at. So
Well, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if
we
next year
broke
is.
a record last year.
Yeah,
Yes.
last year we surprisingly broke donation record.
Yeah, we had our
Ooh,
highest year.
last
We
year.
had 299,000 change.
Awesome.
Whoa,
Yeah.
So
that's
who knows? They
amazing.
were gonna, yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
we're
Well,
actually cracked 2 million
Total.
total.
did we?
Yeah.
Did we actually do that?
Yeah, we did, guys.
Okay, well that's awesome. That's
Earlier in the
celebration right
day.
there.
That's just insane.
Do you guys know where
Did
the,
it.
the hospital ranks right now, or how many donations have been given to the Stollery writ large?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Like I know our team this year has passed 60,000, right?
Oh,
You know
you mean at large?
how much
The
how much
last,
money's come to the Stollery?
yeah, the last check that we had was earlier in the evening, about 50,000. So I'm waiting for that final check at the end of the night to kind of like a look-see into that, because we're just waiting for that call from the hospital to tell us, what that final number was.
Yeah,
So
this is
'cause
amazing.
we don't have
That is, yeah.
we don't have the visibility that we had before, but once we get that final number, we're definitely going to do an announcement, and then the final total at the end of the year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we just got to make the next one a party. Because
Oh, right. Oh my gosh.
These were our first.
Yeah, these are our first
Really
3D
Send
printed trophies.
Party.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
These are the first
trophies
3D
are
printed
amazing.
trophies from Porzellan Props.
Yep.
One thing I didn't bring up.
I was gonna say
Sorry,
I'm
Chris.
excited. I'm excited to see my my Fall Guys trophy.
Oh,
Did
right.
you win?
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. Yeah, that's amazing.
That was I don't know if anyone was watching any of that or if it was even on stream, but it was intense and came down to literally the last 10th of a second.
It was
Yeah.
a pretty intense final round.
It
Everybody
was.
jumping at the same time for the crown.
Yeah,
Is that his trophy?
Yeah.
Hey
that's
Chris,
awesome. Yep.
Oh, that's really
Was-
cool.
that's amazing. Was there a year when our design was the official Extra Life shirt, or am I making that up in my head?
No, okay, so it was close. I was like 10 votes away.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris won
So
one
it wa-
year.
yeah. I didn't win it. I came second.
Oh, yeah. But we always made our own shirts anyway.
And but
Always had better shirts
exactly.
anyway.
So, and that's
Yeah,
where the
we had better
T-shirt
shirts.
content. That's where the annual like our own T-shirt game day T-shirts. That's where that started. Was instead of using the one that they had, we went and got I think like 200 printed on our own and gave them.
Hashtag Roguild.
So yeah, and so if you see the purple and the healthcare kind of swirl one, the scepter, the healthcare scepter with the controller on top, that was like that's OG T-shirt.
I still have it. I still have it. I have all the shirts.
This team looks like they had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have fun, that's for sure. And this last couple of years has been no
This
different.
person in the purple, I don't know who that is.
Who?
Oh, no. So Roman forgot Peggy that year, I think. Yeah.
It's funny because actually I think
Yeah.
I'm on the top. I think I'm on the top balcony in the background there.
You,
I'm
no,
just
are
kidding.
you working?
Yeah,
Oh
how bigfooting these photos, Chris.
my God, you're freaking me out.
No, I just Inception it and.
You know, I think I saw the movie Slender Man starring Chris Smith as well.
Yeah, that's me.
Walking
Yeah.
around.
Oh, man, starting. Chris. Oh my God, I have to
Hmm.
remember that one.
It's like that's a total white guy stereotype.
I own it.
Just messing with you, man. Messing with you.
This is the dark times.
Dark
The
times.
online virtual times.
So with this one was really tough because at the very last second we had to pivot and split our command center in 2020. We also worked through a blizzard. So, but we made the most of it and we did it and it was pretty successful. And Cade made us start a new tradition where he's making these guitars.
Yeah, that looks awesome, by the way. If I played guitar, I don't.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so cool. We started another tradition because a lot of people like the Cordell Stretching Show.
People still want him to make his own channel.
Yeah, they wanted to make his own channel, have his own show. And then we branched out with merch and did print on demand, which you guys have seen.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we had plane tickets for the very first time. We gave away.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that was on our list for a long time. We never got that done.
No kidding.
So maybe you can take this one and run with it. If you get another set of plane tickets, what we were trying to do for one of them was send someone to PAX.
Right?
And so that's what and the
I
crazy thing
remember.
was we had a hotel voucher lined up and we had the PAX tickets lined up. And all we needed was a flight and we just couldn't get it done to give for that giveaway. So
And
just
then
an
leading
idea.
into, we kept the tradition going with the team picture. Even distanced.
And somehow I
leading
still made it
into-
into the background of that.
He's somewhere
Yeah.
in there. He's somewhere
Yeah, he's
in
out,
there.
outside the window in one of these shots.
And then leading into this
Um,
year, we were able to safely gather as a team at our venue. So this is the first time a lot of us have seen each other, in a very, very long time in person. So it's great.
Yeah.
So we've got, I don't know how much time we have, but we've got
We
some.
still have like hours.
Okay, so
some
we've got
An
miscellaneous-
some
hour.
like
an hour,
random
half an hour.
photos, like just random memories that I've pulled.
Cool.
And I'd just to get your impressions on just like the random memories.
And we actually beat an escape room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
This was the underground boat one, right? Where we had to pull people through
Yeah.
the wall.
Hmm
I remember getting pushed through a wall. Yeah.
Send Ray through the wall. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the slopes.
Send it through.
Send him through.
I wish I'd made it to this.
That was so fun.
This looks like
And
it was
here, the meetings at the pool table.
The pool table.
Pool table meetings.
Pool table
Oh,
meetings.
wow, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
pool table meetings.
Yeah, Phaedra made me get rid of the pool table. But yeah, that's my living room. If if no one else has a pool table in their living room, they're missing out.
I remember so many just like long meetings trying to figure stuff out and
Yeah.
make sure we knew what was going on. Is this a board game day?
Yep, this is a hexagon.
Oh, yeah.
That hexagon. Yeah. Of our community events. And then this was nifty. 5 things to do at K-Days, and we
We were
were
number
one of
2.
them. We were number 2.
Next to Rib Fest. But we're ahead of Theory of a Dead Man. So
That's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can accept that ranking if it goes ribs,
It's
Ribs.
true.
us, and then
Ribs
Theory
and
of a
us.
Dead Man. That's something I think we should celebrate as a team.
Think of a live child. Is it the-
Yeah,
One day
we should celebrate Ribfest. I agree. Actually, we didn't really touch on K-Days, but actually, now that you have this picture, but I think that was another pivotal piece in us, right? In us gaining some success because they bought in. They basically that was one of the years that they actually called us, and we were like, "What? You need someone to run your tournaments?" And so we took basically a week off of work or 10 days off work.
yeah, it was
And-
the first year.
and
of the 10-day
yeah.
That's
That
right.
was, we were like, what were we thinking?
Took shifts and
We got a
stuff.
Yeah.
stage.
We had a full stage, full lighting, full crowd. We ran Rock Band, we ran Rocket League, we
Yeah.
ran
Yeah.
FIFA, NHL, any
orchestra?
game. Yeah. Yeah, we orchestras on the stage there.
And
Katie's was
hey, listen,
Hey, listen, yeah. Like it was crazy. I think we gave away a PS5 at one point. Like it was
Not a
crazy.
PS5. Good,
Or
good,
PS, or
bring
sorry,
it
I got
back to it.
PS4 at the time. Okay, sorry, the pad. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was a huge piece of our exposure.
And we were in the parade that year.
Yeah,
And it got used so much it basically broke. We can't use it anymore.
The
It's
wind
broken.
tunnel, yeah,
You can't. It's broken. Used it too
that
much.
was a hit.
It got
And you're
overused.
yeah. This was DisplayCo. I mean, that's another company that was like crazy helping us out
Yep.
for year over year. Like that was insane. And the fact that like this is the size of our screen. I remember walking up to this and being like, "Wait, what? We have this stage?"
Dual projector.
the dual projector.
Yeah, and so we could
Oh,
run
that is
two
wild.
separate like screen tournaments with that's when I think we bought the HDMI splitters so that we could put the dual feed. And the problem that we kept running into was that Sony had their HD copyright, HDCP copyright infringement protection.
Yeah, you could turn it off of PS4s, but you couldn't turn it off of PS3s, which
Yeah.
was running the Rock Band.
But we
Just
figured a
remember,
workaround or something. Like there was a workaround. If we ran it through our splitters, it wouldn't do something, or like there was something that we were able to do to avoid that.
You like
Trying to
siphoned it
avoid
out
that.
of some weird cable you had.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I can't
Random
even
cable you had
remember.
just happened to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I don't know how it worked. And I remember Ray crawling under there with the USB extenders for the cameras.
Yeah, under the stage, the like 1 foot stage.
Yeah.
um,
It was wild.
if I
We
remember
were
right,
at
and
K-Day's daycare.
this wasn't our problem, but like people jacked controllers at this event.
Yeah.
Batteries,
Oh,
controllers.
look at the tethers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to go get aircraft cable.
Yeah, because people were jacking controllers.
Yeah.
And you're right, this did become a daycare.
Yeah.
Like people would literally drop their kids off here and show up like 10 hours later.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah, well,
It
our
was wild.
stage was so fun.
Yeah, because yeah, we did Just Dance on stage, and people like this was insane. And we streamed the whole thing. Like we actually had camera set up, like a 3-camera setup for the whole thing.
That's right.
We
There's
did.
the orchestra. Yeah.
Orchestra.
Yeah.
Orbis.
I don't. Do you remember when the first time it was at K-Days and like they started playing Pokemon when they opened up?
Yes.
And like the whole room, I think that was Hall D. Just like
Yeah.
they all just ran over. They're like, "What is going on?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the drummer got their sticks, and were lucky because we happened to have done Rock Band.
Oh.
And
Yes.
I had drumsticks for Rock Band, and I was able to lend them. It's like, that was
Oh, I remember to get everyone in, they only gave us like 2
we
passes.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
I was
We took
literally
the
running, like sprinting to the entrance and back and forth, and just flashing it to the guy at the parking thing. And he's like, "What is going on?" The parking attendant was like, "I don't understand what's happening, but I'm just letting everyone through." And so we got like 30 people that were like on 2 passes. I just didn't say anything, and I just did it. I was like, Nikki,
Yeah.
who was the organizer at the time with
Oh,
K-Days, I was just like, Nikki, if I get in trouble for this, you can blame me for everything that happens here, but I'm going. I need this to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris
we're trying to
went
put on an event.
loophole.
You
Yeah,
may be
I
the
got
reason
30
why-
people with instruments waiting right outside the gate.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what they said? They said to Chris, "Should have used Theory of a Dead Man. It's only 4 instruments."
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Oh gosh, remember
Yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah,
The quilts.
dude.
Yeah, they were really cool. Yeah, I had a friend, Chelsea, did these. They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's John
Put in
Carson.
a lot of work.
John.
Yeah, MLA John Carson.
Yeah.
enter our auctions.
Yeah, cotton candy.
Oh wow.
Oh my
This
gosh!
must have been the first auction.
Yeah.
Or one.
Yeah.
This was the first one because I remember
I
I
wasn't part
wasn't
of
an
this one,
organizer
yeah.
yet. Matt, you took me over to this artist. You saw me and you recognized me as a fundraiser, and you took me over to like meet this artist, and I was just like, he's just the coolest guy.
This was a subsequent year. I think this was the next year or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
Mark
more
Mayer
bigger
came by
booths.
to sign it.
yeah.
Yeah, and like it's funny, like even because we would go to PAX every year, and like I would just go around collecting stuff that we could auction off, like all the swag that they would throw into the crowds at PAX.
Yeah.
And Mark,
Back
yeah,
over
Mark is a
to-
crazy supporter.
This teeny tiny gaming hall at Amazon.
No, I said John Carson. Uh,
Do you remember this, Chris?
Oh yeah, yeah. These are, I mean, I'm looking pretty lackadaisical in the background, but but yeah,
What's this? I can't remember what this was.
this is the Shaw Conference Center in the basement.
I can't remember if this is a full.
I completely don't remember.
I think it was a
I know
chase.
it was there, but I don't remember it at all.
It's Animathon. We did their game tournament.
Right.
Yeah. We did their panel. It
uh,
was just amazing.
I forget
Remember
what
that?
where this was. I don't even remember. Where
Was
which
that
is this
which,
at Animathon?
This
Yeah.
is still one of the animathon.
yeah, it was at Animacon.
What a great time. What a great
Animathon
group of
gaming
people.
got bigger.
You can see it like over on the left,
wow.
like our tiny little arcade cabinet in the booth.
Yeah.
Just a sea of people.
I remember. I think Vlad was set later after we set up. Because it's like you're blocking the stage. Because
Yeah.
our booth was too tall.
We were blocking the view to the stage.
Well, they gave us square footage. They didn't give us height requirements.
That's exactly what display goes at.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
That might have been
I
Mike's fault.
removed the height requirements from all our booths.
Nice. Nice, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then,
Well, Lisa, do you remember the first time we did Animathon where we all had to go up on stage during like the closing ceremonies?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, yes,
There's a-
I remember. That was wild. And then this auction, that was our 10K
Oh, the live
weekend,
auction.
the live auction. When we did $10,000 in one weekend. That
That's
was pretty
awesome.
incredible. Yeah. Remember this, Chris?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, this was Ronald McDonald House.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we I think we actually had 2 events this day. And so
Yep.
Lisa
Yeah.
Lisa and I split off and did this event while I think K-Days was happening at the same time.
Yeah, it was at the same
That's right,
time.
it was.
We were at
Yeah.
K-Days.
And so we had to put on a second event during
Yeah,
K-Days.
split.
I think we did Rocket League here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it there on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids had a blast. Yeah. And then cut to Tell Us World of Science, where we did Beat Saber in the Dome.
Yep.
Yeah, that was wild. And tournaments down.
That was interesting. Yeah, being in the space doing games.
It was really wild just running. We just took over Tell Us World of Science for that. It wouldn't have been the first time either, because we were there for Dark Matters. We were
Well,
there.
yes.
What else did we do there?
IMAX.
We did Andromeda.
Using
and
stuff in
stuff
their
there, too.
IMAX.
Games
Yeah.
on IMAX is
Yeah.
one to talk about because that was another one of like our original
Yeah.
of
Like,
events
like I said,
we wanted to
we
game.
meant-
Like we had a list running as a team, and we just like would never let these ideas go until they happened. We got games on IMAX, and we really wanted games on a train, and we worked on that for like 5 months. It was just
we literally had to we had to get the logistics of the like how to power electronics on a mobile train because there's no plugins and it's a train from like 1930. So like what are your options? Yeah.
Streetcar.
Yeah, so it's just like
Streetcar.
okay, so we actually ended up tethering like a bunch of construction like truck batteries together to power that like everyone's equipment, and so everyone had like I think it was PS3s at the time, maybe PS4s, but yeah. But Talos World of Science was another one on that list of crazy stuff to do.
Yeah.
Still that sign.
Oh,
Well,
that
and
sign. We got a lot of mileage. Yeah.
they had just got their 4K laser one, and
Yeah.
it was the only
Oh,
functional
yeah,
one
we
in
remember
seeing
North
that.
America.
Yeah,
There was
and
like
actually,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
actually had an HDMI in for the
yeah,
console.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so we were I think the first, like other than maybe staff that had done it, the
Yeah.
first official like gaming on a 4K IMAX, which was
Yeah.
mind blowing to me.
You can see
Um,
it here. It didn't like the resolution of the Wii, so it couldn't
Yes.
quite with the Wii. You couldn't go full. You actually had to call them back to fix the. It was like a glitch or something. They had to go,
They
go
had to
back to the
call them,
manufacturer.
the
Yeah.
Yeah,
manufacturer.
we
Um,
they had to call IMAX to get it fixed.
and BioWare showed some exclusive footage of Dragon Age
Exclusive for
Inquisition,
that, yeah.
I think, at this event.
Yep. Yeah.
Was it Inquisition or was it?
Oh, Andromeda.
And it was Mass Effect
Andromeda?
Andromeda. Yeah.
That was Andromeda. Aaron Flynn was there. They did a panel.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
that's amazing.
This is a Dark Matters.
This is Dark Matters. That's when we did that gaming.
That was
It
a
was
lot
around
of-
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of drunken people.
There's a lot of
I
alcohol
do remember
at
that.
event. Yeah, this was our grown-up event. We didn't do many grown-up
Yeah.
events.
No.
And Frag.
There's a frag.
They're all. We took a picture with all of the Extra Life Edmonton fundraisers that were at Frag that year.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Some fun times. Yeah. Like Frag. I mean, yeah. We went to, I think we've attended, not maybe like hung out at all of them, but been to all of the Frags.
There was one frag that I remember staffing the whole weekend and having so
Yeah.
much frag. I can't remember which year that was. I know we
Well,
did.
it was
Oh.
because that weekend was always the same as Animathon, so it was either like somebody had to be at one or the other. And I
Right.
think you went
We had
to
to split.
Frag.
I was
Yeah.
always I went to frag.
Yeah.
Love Fragapalooza. Love.
So this was a bit of a coup. We got to spend some time in the Mighty Millions house,
Ah.
which
Oh,
was super cool. Yeah,
I
Jamie
don't
had us
remember.
in there just talking Extra Life.
oh wow.
Yeah, that was kind of incredible. And now you guys keep talking about it, so here it
It
is.
is.
Was this the first, like right after our first event? Like, is this the first weird thing we did?
Is it?
I remember being pretty early on.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. Yeah, I think this was just after the 2013 event.
Got a community video from Paula. She talked about this.
I remember we we really
I
wanted
don't think this even happened.
to try to make the sign visible
Good.
at night from the, and it still didn't work. It just looked like a white light, but it was still quite fun to do. Chris, if you're wondering where those giant plastic laminate signs are now, they're in my garage from
Cool.
this event. So if you ever want them back,
I still have the lighting.
well, we should power it back up one of these days.
This picture was in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a very, very neat event. We're always trying to bring gaming into unique spaces. This was one where you could enjoy the screens, but also the view. Maybe there's a bit of an oxymoron to that experience, but it made it fun nevertheless.
I mean, it's oxymoron. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to put it, but it was so weird. It was so out there. It's kind of like what's the movie Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah. It's very out of the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. We kept the community stuff going. This is us at Foam Fighters in the before times. It was a lot of fun in the
Yeah.
before times. And then
Before 4.
can forget it was on a boat.
Yes, I forgot we did that.
Board games on a boat.
Games on a boat. Oh,
Well,
man, that was
and we
good.
always theorized before. I mean, when because it was always fragmented. On we had one event, it was then Renault, and then there's another. But we always wanted to have our board game event on the ship while Extra Life was going in the Ice Palace.
Oh, yeah, that was always
Yeah.
a secondary plan.
Our pirate
Kyla's in
captain
every.
Ray.
Oh,
So Ray, I don't know if you just always want to be a pirate, but I mean, your Fall Guys guy today was a pirate.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got the money from the bumper boats.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was something.
This-
We froze.
Bonds were formed here.
Yes, bonds were
Out
formed.
of survival.
So we went out to Spruce Grove. We took our show on the road,
This was
and people didn't know who we were. It was great.
this was gaming on a puddle.
Gaming in a puddle. Yeah.
That's
The
awesome.
tent basically flooded. We were
Oh
still
my God.
gaming.
With a bunch of gaming equipment. This isn't dangerous.
Uh,
We're at the bottom of a hill, and it just all settled. This is
uh,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody still piled in. You know, things got a little torrential at one point, but you see Kate is happier than heck.
I think this is where I really got to know Kate and Derek.
We all got to know each other really well. Jenny almost
How-
died.
Yeah, Jenny almost died.
Yeah, she does not generate a lot of heat for herself.
Like I'm sure you guys couldn't get like a propane heater or something.
No.
No,
We had a tent
we had a tent.
and
Yeah,
some tables.
we were supposed to go back out in 2020. That did not happen.
Well, if you need a propane heater, let me know. My dad has one in his warehouse. So.
Oh, gaming in a park, in a puddle.
In a puddle, yeah. I'm on a puddle.
Yeah.
So where's the
Very
next gaming on or in a event? What are you thinking?
That's what we need to figure out. Yes, yes. We need
maybe
to
we
figure
just
that
stall
out.
traffic and just go to one of the cross sections.
Gaming in the middle of the street.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna put this to you guys, and I want you guys to try to get this done because I made a phone call and it never happened when Rogers Place was first built. But try to get an NHL hockey tournament on the ice or on the jumbotron.
You work that out for us, Chris. We'll show up.
Oh, come on! Don't put it on my shoulders. Because you know I will.
Here we go. You've heard it here first, folks. Chris is gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, so actually, the one of the community managers for the Oilers Community Foundation, she was on our committee for Putting for Pause. So it's not that
Hey,
far
there you go.
fetched.
There's a connection. All right, make it happen, Chris. We'll show up. I think that's kind of like the end of our slideshow. It's just the final, that Stollery connection that we all have. But I can't express how much it means to all of us that you guys made the time to come this morning. That we wouldn't be doing this if not for everything, the footsteps along the way, and you kind of showing us the best practices, and we're just trying to keep those traditions alive.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean, thanks for having us and myself. I feel like this is such a weird thing for me because it's just like we did this out of the goodness of our hearts to try to help the Stollery out. I mean, Ramen has a history there, and so it made complete sense on helping raise money for a children's hospital with video games. So it fits so well. But at the same time, this changed my life. I don't know how many other people here it changed, but
Changed my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been incredibly moving to kind of go over the last few years and kind of see how much this event has grown and changed along with us. And it's amazing to see how it's still running today. I haven't actually participated in the last 2 years, but I signed up this year and raised money for the first.
Events together and stuff, like volunteered.
It felt really good to come back this year and see that everything's still the same spirit of community is still alive, and that's what we're celebrating. 10 years.
Yeah, 10. Any closing thoughts from
Really. We should just end it
Roman
now.
or Ray? The Roman has nothing to say. Ray, you got anything?
No,
I'm tired.
just gonna say- what I was going to say was that I wanted to give praise to Lisa for how much leadership she's shown in the last few years. Like
Yeah.
the last 2 Chris was saying, like events are tough to organize, but the last couple of years, I can't imagine how you put all this together, how this team has come together, and like I'm not saying it's all Lisa, obviously, but your leadership is very important, and I'm very like you should be very proud of the work you've done and with this team, and I'm so glad it's in your hands to keep going forward. Honestly, you couldn't be a better person to do this.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of dedicated and hardworking people, and this
Absolutely.
team is incredible. And Ray actually took on a leadership position this year, so
That's
he's
great. I'm
been
glad.
taking a lot of the load off me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ray, just so
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I always thought of you as a leader, anyways. So
Yeah.
whether or
It's
not
true. Yeah.
the
Always
Yeah.
was. He just
Whether
didn't
or
take
not
the
it was-
title.
Organizers.
yeah,
Yeah.
whether or not it was
Yeah.
on a piece of paper or whether it was not, or like you always led everything that we did, and you were
Yeah.
a backbone to
Yeah.
us being able to accomplish almost everything as a team. So thank you as well, Ray. Like,
I like to think
Yeah.
like whenever we
Thank you.
were all freaking out about something, if we were getting panicked about something, one person who wasn't panicking ever was Ray.
yes.
Or
Every
if he
time.
was
It
if he
still
was
Yeah.
panicking,
happens.
if he was panicking, I couldn't tell.
I just absorb all that panic, and that's how I stay awake.
Yeah,
That's how you
Yeah.
stay awake.
feels it all inside himself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can explain how you stay awake otherwise. He's the only one I know who never sleeps.
I haven't slept yet. Yeah, tonight I haven't had a
Yeah.
nap.
I'm
He
on
has eaten food.
this will be 26 hours now.
Let's go to bed.
My
Nice.
golly. Yeah, it's time to go to bed, guys.
Eat for extra life.
I'm so glad you guys
This
were
was
here.
really good.
Yeah, this was
This is
awesome.
nice.
Up and down memory lane. Yeah, we'll get
Thanks for having
nostalgic.
us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
And onwards to next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll all
Let's
be
keep
together in
going.
person next year.
In
Yeah,
person,
to the,
hopefully,
to the
yeah.
next 10
Yeah.
years.
Next
I'm
10
gonna wait-
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this down now. The first time we have a live event, we need to do a past organizers tournament.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that a lot.
At All Stars, yeah.
And All Stars.
Yeah, all stars tournament like this.
I like that so much.
Yeah, and every All-Star gets to pick one game.
Chris, I swear to God, if you pick NHL or something, I'm going to kill you.
No, I'm picking Diddy Kong Racing. Get out of here.
Gang beasts.
Yeah.
Big beasts. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys.
Awesome.
We're probably going to kick it
Of
on over to
course.
Mike.
Yeah,
Alright.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you soon.
Enjoy the
talking.
rest of the stream.
Bye.
See ya.